How's it going, PokeMoshPit? I got an RU match between me and the MrNintendoFanMan. Now, if you're looking at the team preview, you'll notice that we're using 2 of the same Pokemon, 3 if you kind of want to count dex numbers instead of forms, but I still know next to nothing about his team. I can kind of piece together that based on Claydol, Quillfish, and Clefable, he's going to have, Stealth Rocks with spinning, and then he's going to have Spikes and Toxic Spikes on this guy, and this guy's probably going to be physically defensive, and then he's probably going to have Clefable there for screens. Now, speaking of Clefable, he's going to end up switching out to that. I led off with my Celigore because I actually thought he was going to end up leading off with Claydol. I could get a solid Bug Buzz going, but that doesn't work. So he goes to Clefable knowing that I can't do anything to him. You know, there's no way I can one-shot him. He can definitely set up one or both of his screens, depending. Now, he makes the good play and decides to set up the Reflect, predicting my Hitmonlee to come in, and with that in mind, he's going to go out to his Quillfish and, sponge his hit very nicely since it's physically defensive. At least that's what I would assume. When I see Quillfish, I don't see my set that I actually happen to be running. I see his set, which is, I would assume standard. I could just be talking out my ass, but, that's what I see a lot. So, with that in mind, the high jump kick is not really doing anything. He does have the Reflect up, but I think he's going to set up the Spikes over anything else, while the screens are up because of that, just get the hazards up as soon as possible to accumulate damage through the rest of the match as opposed to attacking now and then getting them up later. But in comes Claydol, obvious play was fairly obvious. I didn't really care. I was kind of, hoping he would stay in and try to chance taking an Earthquake. But Archeops just has a really, really high attack, and he's not going to want to chance that at all. Just go for the immunity, get a different form of hazard set up in the form of Stealth Rocks, and then we're good to go. Now, this next turn actually tells me a lot about the rest of his set, just based on what he does, because he doesn't attack me and ends up going for the Toxic. Now, because of that, I'm thinking that his only attacking move, if he were to have one, would be Earth Power, and then, Rapid Spin, technically is an attacking move, but, Rapid Spin kills are, they're a little unheard of, but, he can't generally touch me with anything other than, well, he doesn't have anything on his set is what I'm saying. So with that in mind, once he's set up the rocks and he's toxic me, he has no business to stay in. I'm just going to go for the acrobatics, do this as long as possible since, Archeops does have the defeatist ability, which means that when it gets below 50% health, its attack and special attack are cut in half. So HP's cut in half, then the stats are cut in half, and that's not good. Now, speaking of things getting cut in half, my Moltres does not appreciate coming in on this, and I took a fairly big gamble in, going for the, U-turning out to it and predicting the Leaf Storm, but thankfully he does actually end up going for it as opposed to the Volt Switch or the T-Bolt or anything like that. I don't know what I would have done at this point if he were to go for it. My best option probably would have been to end up going out to my my own Rotom and then trying to take him out with the Shadow Ball, but because he did end up going for the Leaf Storm, he's now at -2, and since I am naturally faster, since I know he's not Scarfed, I'm free to go for the Roost, and he's probably going to end up switching out anyway. So the first mirror match of the match is going to be Moltres versus Moltres. Now, I'm thinking that because of the rest of his team layout, he's probably more defensive one, a sub-toxic Roost, mono attacking with Flamethrower, and I am going to get a crit on this Air Slash. Kind of ends up mattering. I will go ahead and admit that right now, but Karma is an instant bitch, and he hits me with the super effective hidden power. I don't know what it is. If it's rock, it didn't matter. If it's water, debatable, but the thing is it kills me off, and my crit doesn't kill him off, so I'm like, all right, I'll take it, that's fine, that works out for you. But because he's at that low of a range, I know since my Moltres was faster, my Rotom will definitely be faster since I was running a Flame Charge dual stab set going on with Roost. Now, I'm just going to take him out with the Shadow Ball. He decides to go into his Clefable. I don't know what Clefable's going to want to do in terms of, if it has a status, he's probably, switching it in to do that or to set up the screens. I know I can get a free sub right now is what I'm saying, since Clefables commonly only run Seismic Toss and, Rotom having its fighting immunities among other things. I'll also be immune to statuses behind a sub too. So he opts to set up both of his screens. I know as long as I am behind a sub, I can take as long as I want here. He really has no business staying in beyond this turn because what he's going to do is he's going to go for the Wish. Now, I had options here because I could have gone for the T-Bolt expecting him to stay in and, just go from there and do this whole stalling screen out shenanigans. Or I could go for the Shadow Ball predicting him to pass it to the Rotom, which was a fairly obvious play. But because I do have the Life Orb, that Shadow Ball is stab and whatnot, and, even with the light screen up, he won't be able to take it, and the Wish ends up getting wasted, so that's a little bit easier on me. Now, right here, he coaxes the switch, or not the switch, the move. I figured I might as well take it, since, you know, it's just stalling out screen turns, and, you know, he'll get a little bit more of lefties. Doesn't end up mattering to me since I can just take him out with the Shadow Ball. Plus, you know, from the turns from earlier, he's also revealed that he has nothing to touch a flying type / levitator, and as such, he's actually going to fodder this out by, you know, deciding to go for the Toxic. He just wants a safe switch into his Primeape, which I think is the only thing that will end up outspeeding me and being able to break my sub. So 2 Shadow Balls going to do the job because the light screen is up. I underestimated, you know, not Clefable, Claydol's special defense there. But I'm still looking good behind a sub since this is a sub-split dual stab set. I use a lot of dual stab sets on this team, but it's just because they work. Well, they work for me anyway. But heals for an Ice Punch. This does not tell me anything about it because I don't see Life Orb. Primeape is naturally faster. And at least the screens are wearing out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sub down as low as I can. And, you know, if basic math serves me correctly, you know, my sub will be 60 HP. I do have 67, so I will live with 7. And what I planned on going for was the Pain Split right here to get a decent amount of health back, but he goes for the Encore. And this officially screws over my Rotom because if I try to switch it out to get rid of the Encore, when I come back in, I will die to Stealth Rock's damage. So all I can really do in here is stay in and just die, but the fact that he switched up from Ice Punch to Encore ruined his, you know, what his item is. You know, I know it's not Scarf, and because of that, Archeops can come in really safely after this, and even if the Defeatist were to activate right now, I'm pretty damn sure I could still take it out with an Acrobatics. So thankfully it doesn't activate right now, and I'm just going to end up going for it because it's my Flying Stab, you know, my item's gone and whatnot. Now, Quillfish does come in and, you know, is going to get the Intimidate off. But even at -1 on a physically defensive Quillfish, that still does a really good amount. That's why I like using Archeops, but to be honest, this team does not have any support to it or, you know, anything whatsoever. I just kind of tossed together things that I thought looked like they had a remote why can't I talk? Remote amount of synergy, you know, in like a minute and a half, and I guess it kind of worked out. So I wasn't in Defeatist range on the turn before, which actually, you know, comes into play because had I had 3 HP less, I would have been in Defeatist range. That Earthquake wouldn't have done as much, and because of that, I'm actually able to take it out with an Acrobatics, meaning he does not have any more screens for the rest of the game, and that's going to make, you know, this whole endeavor a lot easier. But speaking of Endeavor, I should be running that on this set if it does get it, since, you know, it does give Archeops a last little bit of ease, not necessarily ease, more use, I guess is the term I'm trying to think of. I think it gets Endeavor. I'd have to go look that up after this. But he knows that because I'm going to die to poison damage, and, you know, looking at how much the Earthquake from Archeops did in Defeatist range and, you know, being intimidated twice, doesn't do the job. So I'm going to send him my own Quillfish right now. It takes a bit of spikes and rocks damage, but I think I have Black Sludge on this guy, and I think he predicts me to Swords Dance here. So what I end up doing is substituting, knowing that if he's intimidated, that I should be able to take these hits really easily from him, and Primeape's going to end up taking a Waterfall. Now that Waterfall damage is huge. It means that my Accelgor will be able to KO as soon as it comes in. Now what I want for my Quillfish to do is, my Quillfish, I got confused with his Quillfish for a second because this is going so fast, but I want my Quillfish to take out his Quillfish so that my Accelgor has less work to do, or, you know, just bring it down low enough to the point where my Accelgor can end up taking it out with the Giga Drain. Since I wasn't able to see how much damage it does, he will resist the Bug Buzz and the Focus Blast. That is my main option. So Primeape's looking to be at around 40% HP, and if I can take it out, great. If he ends up taking me out, whatever, you know, we're just exchanging blows, and it's just really slow. But I think I end up taking him out somewhere around here. I do get the flinch here, which is kind of funny, but I still, you know, just aiming to take him out, and that does end up working out. So he brings in his last, which is his Primeape, but close combat is going to take me out from that range of health. I'm not minding since he, you know, he does have the special defense drop from it as a result, and I'm thinking his last move was probably going to end up being U-turn, which is why he didn't go for it. But after taking some spikes and some rocks damage, I'm just going to go ahead and Giga Drain for the win, which I think left me with the 2-0. So pretty interesting game there. I enjoyed it a lot. I hope you guys did too. If you did, you're welcome to leave a like, rating, comment, subscribe, do your thing. Both of our links should be in the description if you want to go check either one of us out. And that'll do it out of me for today, guys. Hope you have a good day, and I'll see you later. Peace.